Good morning, dear children. Welcome back to the English virtual class. Today we are going to do lesson number 4 from Moments, that is In the Kingdom of Fools by A.K. Ramanujan. This story is a Kannada folk tale. I hope all of you know the meaning of folk tale. Folk tale is a story which is passed on from one generation to another. So it is taken from the book Folk Tales from India, written by A.K. Ramanujan. Now let's see about the author. Atipat Krishnaswamy Ramanujan was a poet, translator, linguist, and folklorist. He was born in Mysore, Karnataka, to a Brahmin Iyengar family that loved and encouraged learning. Ramanujan's critical work in Indian folklore and translations of Indian classical literature are highly regarded around the world and taught in colleges in India and the US. Ramanujan is considered to be one of the cornerstones of Indo American poetry, with his poems being an exploration and testament of immigrant life, along with the reminiscence and preservation of his Indian culture. In 1976, the Government of India honored Ramanujan with the prestigious Padma Shri, one of its highest civilian awards, for his significant contributions to Indian literature and linguistics. In 1983, he was awarded the MacArthur Prize Fellowship. Ramanujan passed away on July 13, 1993, in Chicago. Though there are many characters in the story, but these are the four main characters of this story. First, the king, the foolish administrator who, due to his foolish decisions, came to his end. That means he himself was responsible for his death. Then the minister, the foolish advisor to the king, who instead of guiding agreed to the decision of the foolish kings. So the main work of the minister is to advise the king whether the decision is right or wrong. So instead of advising him, he used to agree to all his decisions, whatever decision he used to take. Then third, the guru. Guru was a wise man. He knew that the behavior of fools is unpredictable. He advised his disciple not to stay in the kingdom, but the disciple didn't listen to him. He, through his wisdom, was able to become the king. Then last is the disciple. He was a greedy and a short-sighted person. So let's start with the summary of the chapter. So before starting the summary, let's talk about the title of the story. So the title of the story is In the Kingdom of Fools. So clearly this title states that here the people were not wise. The king himself was not wise. The people were not wise. They were not at all intelligent. All of them were fools. So in this story, the king, his ministers, his advisors, everyone is fool. They take the foolish decisions, and what due to their foolish decision, what actually happens, we will come to know through this story. So let's start with the summary. There was a kingdom of fools where both the king and his minister were idiots. In an attempt to be different from others, they foolishly took the decision to change night with day and vice versa. Hence, the people in his kingdom would do all their work like tilling the fields or running their businesses at night, and all would sleep when the sun rose up. Even the animals were trained to do so. They used to be awake at night and sleep during the day hours. Those who disobeyed were threatened with death punishment. So everyone followed this foolish practice. One day, A guru and his disciple visited this kingdom and was surprised to find the whole kingdom asleep during the day. So this is not a normal thing. Everywhere we see that people they work during the day hours and they sleep. The nights are meant to take a sleep. But here the thing was just opposite. So they were very amazed, surprised to see this thing. When night came, people began their routine activities. The two men had become very hungry by this time. The two men refers to the guru and the disciple. So they went to a grocery shop. It was utterly surprising for them to see that everything had the same cost, a single doodoo. Isn't it surprising? Because if we go to the market, do all the things have the same price? No, it depends. But here, whatever you buy, whether it is 1 kg of if you are buying the rice or the bananas or anything, everything cost only one doodoo. Initially, they were both happy as they could buy all that they wanted for a very nominal amount. However, the guru, being a wise man, decided to leave the place and told his disciple that the behavior of fools cannot be predicted and it was not safe to stay there for long. So Guru could sense that being here could land them into a big trouble. He was a far-sighted man. He tried to make his disciple understand that, but he was not able to understand. He was a big foodie and was really happy that in one doodoo he can have a lot of things. So he did not want to leave this kingdom. But the disciple decided to stay back, and the Guru alone left the city. One day, a thief broke into a rich merchant's house by making a hole in the wall. However, when he was leaving after the loot, the wall of the old house fell on his head and killed him instantly. The thief's brother complained to the king that the merchant was to be blamed for this death and should hence be punished. Isn't it a weird case that came to the king? Yes, it was. The foolish king assured him of justice and summoned the merchant. So you can easily make out how foolish the king was. Instead of just scolding him that he has come with such a case of burglary done by his brother, he has come to take the justice for his brother. So the king told the merchant that he would be punished for having murdered the man who burgled his house. The merchant was a wise man and escaped punishment by telling the king that the wall had been built in his father's time. So the bricklayer who built such a weak wall was responsible for thief's death and should get the punishment. So very smartly he outsmarted the king and said that he was not to be blamed because he did not make the wall. It was the fault of the bricklayer because he made such a weak wall that it fell. And because of this, the merchant's brother died. The bricklayer too wisely evaded punishment and put the blame on the dancing girl. He claimed that he got distracted by her jingling anklets when she went up and down the street on the day the wall was built by him. So now the bricklayer said it was not his fault. It was the fault of the dancing girl. She was wearing an anklet, and because of that jingling of the anklet, he got disturbed, and that is why he was not able to build the wall properly. So now he should not be punished. The dancing girl should be punished. The dancing girl, in her turn, shifted the blame to the goldsmith. She said that she had to walk up and down the street many times because the goldsmith had delayed her order. So she put the blame on the goldsmith. She said, I was walking up and down the street many a times just because the goldsmith has delayed her order. She has ordered for a jewelry and goldsmith had delayed her order. He used to call her for many times. That's why she has to walk up and down. Many. The goldsmith defended himself by pleading that he could not complete the dancing girl's order in time because he had to first finish a rich merchant's order. This rich merchant was the father of the same person on whom the blame was put earlier. So the rich merchant was summoned again. He pleaded his innocence on the ground that the jewelry had been ordered by his father. But the foolish king told the merchant that he had inherited his father's sin in the same way as he had got his wealth. So he said, as you have got his wealth, in the same way you have to inherit his sin also. Now you are to be punished. Just imagine what kind of foolish king he was. Hence, he must be executed for the killing of the burglar. So the final decision was given that the merchant who came with the complaint will now be hanged since it was his father's fault. A new stake was ordered by the king for the execution. So in the picture you can see the stake. Stake is a wooden post on which criminals are tied for being executed. So however, moments before the killing, the minister observed that the merchant was too thin for the new stake. So it was decided to find a person who fitted the stake. So just imagine, the minister is such a foolish man. So now the one who is responsible was not to be punished. Now they are going to punish the person, whether he has done the crime or not. He will be punished just because he fitted the stake. So the disciple who had gone fat after eating bananas, rice, wheat, and ghee for days was caught to be killed in place of the merchant because he has grown fat and he very well fitted this stake. So now he was called to give the punishment. So now this time he must be regretting by not following his guru's advice. He pleaded that he was a sannyasi and had not done anything wrong. But the king's men did not listen to him. He was reminded of his guru, and while waiting for death, he prayed to him in his heart for help. The guru had magical powers and he saw everything in a vision. So had a magical power, he saw everything, and he was a wise man also. So now he thought of a plan to rescue his disciple. He arrived at once to save his disciple. He first scolded the disciple and then whispered something in his ears. He is scolded for not listening to him. Then he said something in his ears. Then, admiring the king for his wisdom, the guru urged him to put him to death in place of his disciple. So, Guru was very much aware of the foolishness of the king. So, what he did, he straight away went to the king and said that instead of in place of his disciple, he want to be hanged. The disciple at once understood the guru's move and insisted on being put to death earlier than his guru. So both of them started a sort of fight, which was fake one, that he should now, disciple said that he should be punished first. This behavior puzzled the king. So now the king was very much puzzled that why both of them want to get punished and why they want to get punished first. Why Guru want to get punished first? Because he has not done anything, though the disciple has also not done anything, but he really wanted to know why they are fighting for the punishment. He asked the Guru to explain the reason behind the desire to get executed first. So he wanted to know the reason. The Guru asked the king to promise him that if he told him the reason, he would put him to death earlier than the disciple. So he convinced the king that if he is going to tell him the reason behind the execution, so he will let him get the punishment first, that is before his disciple. The king assured him, and the Guru, taking the king aside, told that The stake was the stake of the god of justice. It was new and no criminal had ever been put on it. Hence, whoever dies first will be reborn as the king, and the next person will be reborn as the minister. So he manipulated the. This information put the king in deep thought. He discussed the matter with his minister and they decided to go to the stake themselves. So it was very obvious that the minister will not give any good advice to him. Instead, he will follow whatever the king said. The minister told the executioners that the criminals to be punished would be sent at night. So he kept a clause that the criminal will be punished and they will be sent in the night for the punishment. They should be killed one after the other without any mistake. So both of them should be killed, but one after the another. At night, the king and his minister secretly went to the prison and set free the Guru and his disciple. Then they disguised themselves as the two criminals and were executed as per their revised orders. So, what they did, they went to the jail, they released both the Guru and the minister, and they dressed themselves as a Guru and the disciple. And they went there near the stake for the punishment. So, as per the order of the king, the execution was done. First, the king was executed, and then the minister. When their bodies were taken down to be thrown to the crows and vultures, people panicked. So they were very, very surprised and shocked to see that their king and the minister was dead. The city got confused. Now they were very much worried and got confused that who will be the king? What will happen to this kingdom? They mourned all night and finally went to the Guru and begged him and his disciple to be their king and minister. The disciple agreed easily, but the Guru agreed on the condition that they would be allowed to change the old laws. So, when they were about to leave, the people went to them and they said that they need a king and a minister, and they pleaded them to become the king and the minister. So disciple, he very easily he agreed, but it was really tough to convince the Guru. But Guru agreed on the condition that he would only become the king if they will allow him to change the old laws. So the people agreed to it. Then on, night and day began to be used in their normal way, and the price of all the things no longer remained one dudu each. So it became like a normal place, like any other place. So this is all the story about. Hope you have understood the story. This story gives a message to us. The story is a folk tale and gives two messages. The first message is that one should stay away from foolish people. See, here we can easily see in this story that how being with the foolish people, the condition of the kingdom has become, and how they have taken their own lives because of their own foolish decisions. So, else one is bound to suffer. Trusting fools is a grave mistake that can put anyone's life on stake. Fools don't know what to do, they don't know how to find a feasible solution to a specific problem because they think they are very smart people. They don't listen to others and they always take the wrong decisions and they don't know that what should be done in a specific situation. The second message is that in order to tackle foolish people, one should employ wisdom and not logic. Believe me, children, everywhere logic doesn't work. Sometimes, somewhere, you have to use your wisdom. You have to be wise, you have to be smart in taking decision and tackling the situations. The Guru does not argue or reason the innocence of his disciple. Using his wisdom and presence of mind, he was able to convince the king that new stake is lucky and holy for the one who dies first. By doing this, he not only succeeded in saving his disciple, but also rids the kingdom from the foolish king and his foolish minister. Besides all this, the Guru became the king and disciple became the minister of the kingdom. So, learn from this story and stop being with the foolish people. Use your wisdom, be wise in tackling the situation. Everywhere logic doesn't work. So, in the next, write down these two questions and answers in your fair notebook. And if any doubt, feel free to ping me on my personal WhatsApp number. Thank you. Have a nice day. Be safe. Stay at home. Study hard. Bye.